Yeah, nothing's changed since his surgery. You know, we were where we were at before that, and then he got the surgery, so everything went on hold. I expect him at some time most likely to be traded, but who knows? It's not a guarantee, and it's been exactly on hold when that happened, and when he's healthy, we'll see what happens.
Most likely is a strong term. I expect him most likely to be traded. The problem is they value him more than anyone else does. They have inflated what they think he's worth, and they are dismayed that no one else seems to agree. Well, you're the ones that went out and used 3 first-round picks to get his replacement, so what do you expect others to think? For the same reasons you don't want him, maybe we're not interested in paying him $25 million with no guarantee beyond this year. We're paying him $25 million. Maybe he won't earn it, and if he does, what do we do next year? Franchise tag him? So it's just a tough spot for everybody, but look, the bottom line is it sure sounds like they want to move forward with Trey Lance.
100%.
They don't know whether or not he's ready, but they want to move forward with Trey Lance. And I don't know how you can go forward with both guys on the roster after Kyle has said something that clear, openly and publicly. If they don't get the trade partner they want, at what point does Jimmy Garoppolo go to them and say, "You tried, it didn't work. Can you just let me go now while I have a chance to go find another job instead of letting me go right before the start of the season and I can't find anything and I have nothing and I have no guarantees?"
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, you know, we've gotten a lot of inklings. I mean, they want to go Trey Lance. We know it for obvious reasons. Let alone, you know, we heard at the owners' meetings where Shanahan, we think Trey Lance is ready to be a starter. He said it there. You know, again, yesterday saying that, you know, yes, we think we're going to trade him, all of that. The one thing I will say, you know, that I think has jumped out to me, because I believe this is really like the second time in the past week that Shanahan has made some comments about Garoppolo in this, is a little bit of just the, you know, the more you kind of look at this, you realize that, man, maybe they were closer to trading him. And that's when Garoppolo was like, I'm getting surgery. I'm not. You're not. You know, you're not having the power in this situation. That to me is the one thing I've looked at to go. It seems like that kind of annoyed them or has bothered them in this situation. That Garoppolo went the surgery route. That certainly threw a wrench in their plans and has halted the process. And ultimately, I think is gonna, you know, like you're kind of talking about, end the process altogether. Yes, you value him too highly. Yes, he's coming off a shoulder surgery. And yes, he's due to make $25 million a year. And most of the seats are filled. I just don't think there's going to be that much action for Jimmy Garoppolo.
And despite the 49ers talking point that has gotten pushed to multiple members of the media who just parrot it like Woody, the cowboy with a pull string, there's a snake in my boot, Jimmy's a great guy, he went and got shoulder surgery without telling them. He did it on his own. He threw a wrench into the gears. And that's him taking back some of the power here.
Right.
Look, he said it himself to Adam Shine several weeks ago. It was strange last year, and he wouldn't wish it on anybody. George Kittle explained how weird it was and how well Jimmy did in being a professional about it and how he admires him for doing it. And it continues to ingratiate himself even more with his teammates. This is Jimmy G taking back some of the power and saying, you're not going to just, you know, treat me like a pawn on a chessboard. I got some of the power here too, and that's got to be factored into all of this. So I think I still think they're going to have a hard time trading him, harder than they realize.
Yeah, I do too. And then I also think that the fact that Baker Mayfield's out there, you know, as possible trade bait as well, does not help out Jimmy Garoppolo. Wait, let me think. $25 million for Jimmy Garoppolo or $18 million for Baker Mayfield, who's young and just about to hit the prime of his career and has more physical ability than Jimmy Garoppolo. Who would you rather trade for? That's going to hurt Garoppolo thing as well.
I think they're not doing anything for now because they don't have to. But as we get closer to camp, they're going to have to do something. By the way, before we take a break, Kyle Shanahan did address the Deebo Samuel situation. He is confident that they'll come to an agreement. It further underscores the idea that this is all financial, that this isn't Deebo Samuel not wanting to play for the 49ers, not wanting to live in California. This is just about, are they going to pay him what he thinks he's worth? That's Kyle's perspective. Could be right, could be wrong. But, Chris, he continues to be optimistic they're going to work something out.
Yeah, no, he does. You're right. And it seems like, you know, again, like we discussed yesterday, that Deebo is maybe cooled down a little bit I don't think we really any of us know the truth of this situation and what's going on. But Shanahan, like we've discussed, he's got a way with players, and I never thought he would give up on this one, especially with Deebo Samuel, who's arguably the best player on their team.
All right, let's take a break.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.